When she walked out, he was a
For months, the world wondered what really happened behind the closed doors of Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding. No cameras, no public updates, almost no details. Banned. But now, one guest is finally revealing the emotional moment that left everyone in the room stunned, beamed. Because when Taylor Swift began walking down the aisle, the man known for fearless NFL battles, Super Bowl pressure, and standing in front of millions of fans, reportedly couldn't hold back his emotions. And according to wedding guest Joe Buck, Travis Kelce wasn't just smiling, he was completely overwhelmed. You know? And the moment that caused it wasn't a massive celebrity entrance or a headline making surprise. Bombed. It was simply seeing Taylor Swift walk toward him. Land. But that emotional reaction was only the beginning of a wedding night, filled with unforgettable moments.
vows were long. They were really well written. They were funny. They were sweet. They were emotional. Travis was a puddle watching his
Legendary guests, and details fans never expected to hear. Yake! Travis Kelce has built an entire career around controlling his emotions under pressure. From championship games to some of the biggest moments in football history, he's usually the person everyone looks toward when the stakes are at their highest. And, but according to one wedding guest, there was one moment where even Travis couldn't keep his emotions contained. Men's sports broadcaster Joe Buck recently shared a behind the scenes glimpse of the wedding day, revealing that Travis was already emotional before Taylor Swift even appeared. Beer. Buck said Travis became overwhelmed while watching his nieces walk down the jot aisle on the special ramp that had been created for the ceremony. Moi. But then came the moment everyone in the room was waiting for. Mand. When Taylor Swift walked out, Buck said Travis was a puddle. For fans who have followed their relationship, that detail instantly stood out. The image of a superstar athlete, someone known for confidence, energy, and intensity standing there completely vulnerable created a side of Travis that audiences rarely get to see. Meandy. It wasn't about the fame, the spotlight, or the thousands of people watching. According to the guest's account, it was simply a person seeing the person he loved walking toward him. You know? And while the emotional aisle moment became one of the biggest talking points, it was only one piece of a wedding that was carefully kept away from the public eye. Jure. Blend because behind the secrecy, the celebrity guest list, and the headlines, there were even more details about the night that fans are still trying to uncover. Heck, for a couple this famous, keeping anything private seems almost impossible. Waste. But Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce managed to do something most celebrities struggle with. They kept their biggest personal moment almost completely away from the public eye. Mbia. Unlike many high profile weddings where every detail leaks within hours, the couple stayed silent. No official photos, no long announcements, no behind the scenes updates from the bride or groom. That secrecy only made fans more curious. Laned. The wedding reportedly took place on 3 July at Madison Square Garden in New York City, transforming one of the world's most iconic venues into the setting for a private celebration between two global superstars. Bond. But what made the event even more fascinating was the contrast. MDA. Taylor Swift is one of the most recognizable artists on the planet, while Travis Kelce is one of the biggest names in professional football. Their relationship has been followed by millions, analyzed by fans, and discussed everywhere from sports shows to entertainment programs. And yet, on their wedding day, they managed to create a moment that felt personal instead of public. Mond. Only after the celebration ended did guests begin sharing small details about what happened inside. Lemidis. La. Momdi. And those tiny glimpses started painting a picture of a night that wasn't just about celebrity power or fame. It was about emotions, memories, and moments that even some of the biggest stars in the world couldn't believe they were witnessing. Spence. MBN. But as more guests started opening up, another detail began standing out: the words Taylor and Travis exchanged when they finally stood face to face. The aisle moment may have been the first emotional highlight of the night, but according to guests, the most powerful part came when Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce finally spoke from the heart. Den. Because behind all the camera's fame and attention surrounding their relationship, their vows reportedly became the moment that reminded everyone this wasn't just a celebrity event. It was a deeply personal one. And Joe Buck revealed that the couple's vows were lengthy, but every word seemed to have a purpose. He described them as funny, sweet, emotional, and incredibly well written. Fans. That combination reportedly stood out to guests because it showed different sides of their relationship: the humor they share, the affection they have for each other, and the emotional journey that brought them to that moment. LBFE. Fellow guest George Stephanopoulos also previously talked about the vows, adding to the growing picture of a ceremony filled with heartfelt moments. Emblian. For fans who have watched Taylor and Travis's relationship develop in the public eye, the idea of hearing private promises between them created even more curiosity. Dumland. After all, their story has been anything but ordinary. Mumdia. One is a record-breaking music icon whose every move becomes global news. The other is an NFL superstar known for his confidence and larger-than-life personality. Inged. But during that ceremony, according to those who were there, the focus wasn't on their fame. Smad. It was on two people making promises to each other. And while the vows created an emotional atmosphere, the guest list proved that this wasn't just a wedding. Meant, it was a gathering that looked almost impossible to believe, with some of the biggest names in entertainment, sports, and Hollywood all in the same room. Longit. The vows may have been the emotional center of the night, but the guest list turned the wedding into something that looked almost unreal. According to Joe Buck, the celebration brought together nearly 1,000 guests, a crowd filled with some of the biggest names from music, arts, and Hollywood. Manja. For most people, seeing one major celebrity at an event is already a memorable experience. Bumdia. But this night reportedly had one famous face after another. Mandy Buck recalled looking around and realizing he was surrounded by people most fans only ever see on screens. Names like Brad Pitt, Scarlett Johansson, Hugh Grant, and Tom Hanks were among the stars mentioned as part of the incredible gathering. And for Buck, even as someone who regularly works around famous athletes and entertainers, the atmosphere was still hard to process. Beamed. It wasn't just a wedding reception. Band. It was a rare moment where icons from completely different worlds came together in one room. AMD football legends, Hollywood actors, music stars, and entertainment giants were all celebrating the same couple. Umbliant. But what made the night even more memorable wasn't just who was there. Blendje. It was what happened when the phones went away. Beandbuck explained that once guests put their devices aside, everyone could relax and experience the evening without the pressure of cameras or social media. And that's when the celebration reportedly transformed into something even more unforgettable. Lenge. Because surrounded by some of the most famous people on earth, one surprise performance created a moment that even a seasoned broadcaster like Joe Buck described as impossible to forget. Bond, among all the famous faces, emotional speeches, and unforgettable moments, there was one scene that reportedly made everyone stop and realize they were witnessing something truly rare. According to Joe Buck, the reception reached a completely different level when music legend Paul McCartney performed "I Want to Hold Your Hand." Leaned for many guests, it wasn't just another performance. It was a once-in-a-lifetime moment. MBZ Buck described standing nearby with artist Beck and other guests while watching McCartney perform, calling the experience a pinch-yourself kind of night. And it's easy to understand why. Manja. Paul McCartney is one of the most influential musicians in history, and seeing him perform at a private celebration, surrounded by some of the biggest stars in the world, created a scene that felt almost unreal. Planned. But what made the moment even more special was the atmosphere. There were no phones recording every second, no rush to post clips online, just a room full of people experiencing a legendary musician, sharing a song in an incredibly personal setting. Amblingy. For a night already filled with global celebrities, this performance became another reminder that Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's wedding was unlike almost any other celebrity event. Bond. But even with all the stars, the music, and the unforgettable memories, one thing continued to stand out above everything else. Manda. It wasn't the famous guests, it wasn't the performances. It was the emotional connection between Taylor and Travis, and why their private moment resonated with millions of fans watching from the outside. And at the center of all the celebrity names, unforgettable performances, and luxury details was something much simpler, a genuine emotional moment between two people. Two people. That's the part fans couldn't stop talking about. India. For years, Taylor Swift's life has played out under a global spotlight. Every song, every appearance, and every relationship moment has been analyzed by millions of people around the world. MBD Travis Kelce's journey has also been followed closely, from his football career to becoming one of the most recognizable athletes outside of the NFL. So, when fans heard that Travis reportedly became emotional, seeing Taylor walk down the aisle, many connected with a side of him they rarely see. Being not the superstar athlete, not the celebrity boyfriend, just Travis, overwhelmed by a major life moment. MBN Online. Fans began sharing their reactions, saying the story showed a more personal side of their relationship, while private details of the ceremony remain known only to those who attended. Sigept. Nout. Specket. These small glimpses have created even more interest in the couple's story. And maybe that's why the moment became so memorable. Because, despite the fame, the massive guest list, and the attention surrounding them, the part people remembered most wasn't about being famous. It was about emotion. It was about a person seeing someone they love and realizing that moment was bigger than anything else happening around them. And after a wedding filled with legendary guests and unforgettable memories, one simple reaction from Travis Kelce may have become the moment everyone remembers most. Because sometimes, the most powerful moments aren't the ones that are planned for the cameras. They're the ones that happen when nobody is trying to perform. In a wedding filled with global superstars, legendary performers, and a guest list that looked almost impossible, the moment that captured everyone's attention wasn't the biggest celebrity name in the room. Neat. It wasn't the music. It wasn't the spotlight. It was Travis Kelce's reaction when he saw Taylor Swift walking toward him. A media single emotional moment that reportedly showed a side of Travis fans rarely get to see a side beyond football, fame, and success. And maybe that's why people connected with it so deeply. Because behind the headlines, the millions of followers, and the worldwide attention, Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce's story still comes down to something surprisingly simple. Two people sharing a life-changing moment together. As more guests continue revealing small details from that unforgettable night, fans are left wondering what other hidden memories from the wedding could eventually come out. Unbanned. But for now, one thing seems clear. Out of nearly 1,000 guests, countless celebrities, and a night full of incredible moments, the image people keep talking about is Travis Kelce, standing there, completely overwhelmed, as Taylor Swift walked toward him. What do you think about Travis's emotional reaction? Heifer ass. Was this the sweetest celebrity wedding moment we've seen? Was this the celebrity wedding moment we've seen? Or do you think there's more to the story that hasn't been revealed yet? Let us know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe for more celebrity stories and behind the scenes moments. Yell,